hopefully. And we are live. Let me just double check. I always do this double checking. Good morning, good morning. Happy Friday. For those who are live, let us know that you're here. Let us know where you're calling in from or zooming in from. If you're seeing me, then you know that I'm not alone. So that's super cool, right? Ah, yay, here we go. I see us, Kat. We're in the Zooms. We're in the Zoom rooms.
Oh.
The community. I know it's super fun to not just be like talking to myself throughout all this process. I'm just going to see if I can pull everyone up on the phone, and that way we can see them when they're chatting with us and we can have the real-time conversation. So, Miss Kat, lovely to have you here. Before I go into a big, huge introduction, which you totally deserve, let's just see who's with us this morning. We've got Martine's on the line, Holly Ann's on the line, Jenna's on the line. And so for those, and Kelly's on the line, beautiful. And so for those of you who have not had the pleasure of meeting the most beautiful Kat Lynn, I wanted to take this opportunity to shine a light on this epic human. Not only is Kat an incredible artist, creator, supporter, community advocate, she's an incredibly gifted and talented photographer. Just in business, just over a year in this business, award-winning entrepreneur, like just doing so well. And it's a testament not only to her craft, but also to who she is as a human and how she shows up in the world. So I just want to say a very big hello and welcome to the live call to Kat. If I was like Kermit, I'd be like, yay!
Geez, that type of welcome, and it's a nice way to wake up in the morning.
Okay. Holly Ann, like I can't believe I made it. It's 5:30 in Perth.
Hey, Holly Ann.
No, right? So I haven't prepped Kat, and I do this on purpose because I always want to just be in the moment with this. And one of the things I love is that I was blessed to meet Kat about 6 or 7 months ago. I've seen her in the community, and then we did some work together at our boot camp and weekend workshop where I got to really spend a bit of time with Kat. So I feel like this is the first time I've actually gotten to like tell everyone about you. So I'm super excited. And one of the things I didn't know about you when I met you was just how much of an advocate you are about food being a connector for people. And so you think, well, you meet an epic photographer and you meet someone who like has a business around photography and product-based business, but yet the whole methodology for Kat is really about bringing people together to celebrate food. So I'd love to know what triggered this for you.
Oh, okay. Well, food has always been something as part of our lives. Even when I was little, Mum was always a baker. Mum always had huge veggie gardens. So I think I've just grown up with it in my veins. And then my husband and I travelled a bit because he was in the army, and so we got to travel. And everywhere we went, we just made sure that we did some sort of food experience. And just the cultures and the people behind the food and the stories that you hear about food is what really brings the memories back. So, you can always pull up, if you're having pasta, it takes us back to Italy when we went to Italy, or when we had sat down at that pizza and we had got free limoncello. So food is a way that really enables you to weave, or it's the thread of life. It's not only our nutrients, it's the way that we actually bond with people and our memories. So that's probably why I love food.
The people who are like food is fuel, like that's so like linear, because just like you, like I traveled and I worked and everything, food is connection, right, for me. And so I'm like, oh my goodness. I was famous for saying things like, this is my favorite place, and I'd take someone to a new restaurant in here, and whether it was like, having limoncello in like the south of, Italy, or whether we were eating like pierogies in Poland, or like there's always a story that attaches to it.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful.
So here you are, like creating beautiful photography for cafes, restaurants, and products. You've worked with personal brands, you've worked with people in like the wedding space. You also come from a corporate background.
Yeah.
I'd love to know, and I'd love to share with other people, who are you when you're at your best?
Oh. Who am I when I'm at my best? I get really excited when I'm sitting with a client and I can just see their brains ticking when I'm starting to tell ideas, or how can we use their photos and really fluff their feathers about their product. Because quite often when we're in our business, we don't really see you often say it, Martine, we don't see our exceptional in ourselves. So quite often I actually get to tell them and show them how exceptional their product is. When they see their photos on the screen, they go, oh my God, that's my stuff. That's my product. I can't believe it looks like that. So, and then you get excited about where it can be seen and how you can do it. And then it's all the little bits of, so I have quite a large network of people I can connect others with. So then I go, and if you do this, have you got your website? Have you got a social media content creator? Because in all honesty, there's no point me taking all these beautiful photos and then they're not being shown or shown in their best light. So I also get excited when I can bring others in as a team. So they get their own A team basically, and they just can see the potential for what their business, which is their dream, and how they're going to be able to grow. So when you know that you can see where you can get to, it just gives you that energy to go, I can do this, because I've got people like Kat, and I've got people that can help me do the website and do content and marketing and all that. So therefore the overwhelm of what small business actually does to people, where they go, oh, it's just so hard, actually becomes a possibility. And so it's really exciting to see them then latch that on and take it. So that's where I really love.
I love it. And you can see that just like that lights you up just when you're talking about it. We do all this stuff, we get busy in our business and we forget about the things that light us up, right?
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think it's very easy to get into the mundane of small business. I do really challenge myself to make sure I look for something that lights me up. So yeah, really important.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So based from that, when you're talking about the things that light you up, what inspires you? What are the things that bring that for you apart from the work that you do?
It would be funnily, it comes in different waves and themes. So like at the moment, props are a thing that I'm really focusing on. I don't know why. Maybe because it's Christmas and we've just had sales and all these beautiful bits of pottery from Robert Gordon, and you just go, oh, what can I cook in that? Oh, and if I'm in the kitchen, like I go, okay, I'm cooking chicken with a green capsicum. It needs a black bowl. Okay. And then I race out before I even eat it and take a photo. So it's fantastic to have my studio constantly set up. So I just come out and go, oh, look at that. Because you get excited about the food you eat. You go, God, that looks yummy. How can I capture that and then share it with others? So probably the inspiration is my props at the moment, because they actually inspire me to create and know what to use them for. So like recently, during the break, technically I said, okay, I'm not going to work with clients for 3 weeks. I'm going to work on the business. And I wanted to play with shadows and textures and just simple things. And it was just a beautiful way to disconnect from the deadlines and the clients and the restrictions. I had the permission to just see what happened and just play in the space. So I was like a kid in a sandbox and just building my castles.
Love it. I love it. I did the same thing. I unplugged from customers so that I could work on the things that needed to be worked on that I'm not doing when I'm, customer facing all the time.
Yeah.
You're like, can you help me? I was like, no. I'm hiding. I'm not here. You can't see me.
Yes, and I'm really proud that you stuck to it too, because I'm sure I reached out to you and said, not today, I'm not online. And similar, I had to say, no, next week I'm back. So, and it is good to actually, you feel good when you go, I've had to say no, because you go, I'm actually honoring my value. So, which is really important, which I'm starting to try and get that balance, which is my 2021 word, balance.
I've had a couple of 2021 words. I'm like ready. Mine is worth, right? My worth. I love this. And yes, it was hard to do that thing. What is it that you, because there's so many, I love that you're a mum and you're an entrepreneur and you've done all these things. What is it that you want people to know about you, the human, the woman behind the brand and behind the business?
I think that I am genuinely wanting to see you succeed. So it's not about me selling the biggest package to you, or how can I, get into your business. There's no malice, or there's no ulterior motive. It's purely that I want to see you succeed. So I often give so much more than just a photo. And that's what I want people to know, is that they're not just getting a photographer, they're getting someone that does understand the customer experience. I mean, I find it hard to see my own customer experience, but when you're the outsider, it's so much easier to go, what if we do it this way because the customers are needing this? And they get that insight because of my corporate background in design and customer experience designing. It really has helped to create those journeys for my clients. And with my graphic design background, I have an eye for what the designers would potentially need if they need to create promotional material. So, just little things like, hey, we're not going to fill up the whole space because you may be able to use this for a brochure, or you can put your text there. And they go, oh yeah, that's I didn't think of that. So it's, and yeah, I am a mum. I've got 2 teenagers that have their own challenges. And so, yeah, being a small business, I think I really appreciate the struggles and the challenges that small businesses come with. I'm there with them. It's not that I'm a big conglomerate and you're my client. I know what it's like. And it really pains me when I can see them in pain. They're frustrated. They're overwhelmed. They're flustered that they can't do this thing, but they're not meant to do this thing because that's not what they went into business for. So just release that, allow me to help them. And it's amazing how much they'll be able to just blossom, really, and just go, why didn't we do this sooner? But yeah, that's, anyway.
It's really a beautiful perception that you have there, and I agree with you, right? Because what happens is that so many of us go into business and so many people start businesses and they're trying to be all things to all people, and it comes from a place of lack, right? It's like, I can't afford to get someone else to do this for me, or I need to figure it out because I'm just starting up and I don't have the resources. And it's like it will be the thing that keeps you small. Not getting that person who's in their zone of genius to help you, like taking the risk and bringing on team and taking the risk and investing in things, doing that at times when it freaking scares you, is the thing that's going to take the next step and elevate you. And it's the hardest decision for us to make, right? And I do it all the time with my team and my business. I'm like, right? I've got to do this thing, right? I've got to do this thing. And I'm like, I'm damned if I do and I'm damned if I don't, right? But if I don't, I'm going to stay here, and here is not where I want to be, right? And it's that fine line of being happy with who you are and yourself and being present in the moment and knowing and feeling into what could be if you allow yourself to lean into it. And so
jump off that cliff, just do it.
I've got a beautiful friend of mine, and I remember sharing that she's never let me forget it. I shared a post, I don't know, maybe 6 or 8 years ago, and I said, a great entrepreneur takes the leap and builds the wings on the way down.
Yep, exactly. And all those goosebumps that you get, they're a good thing. That, when you get the goosebumps, you're on the right track. You go, yes.
Happy every day. I call them truth bumps. And the other marker that everyone knows is like when I get all teary, I'm like, oh yeah, and then I know that's the truth, right? So my team has like a teary moment. Oh yeah, that's the thing. I got all the feels.
Yes, all the feels.
All the feels. So on that same sort of trajectory, because I know there's so many things that you do, but we talk about building a community and you're very community driven. It's one of the things that I freaking love about you is what is your vision for your community in the next year?
Oh, well, with my main probably or very public community goal is to make sure my cooking experiences are a success, because that is when truly the community comes together. It's when I'm bringing in different companies, you know, whether they're helping to provide ingredients or they're a spokesperson. It's helping to bring different locations, so where we use those, where we perform those experiences, so that people are experiencing those different locations that they may not have been to, or which may mean, oh, down the track that venue might get a wedding, they may get a birthday party, so it helps them to be seen. Also, you know, with my chef, you know, so I'm working collaborative with him to bring the stories of the food together. He's an amazing trainer, which is so important, because yeah, I could get in celebrity chefs and I could do that. However, there's not that community bond. He's here in our community. He's teaching our apprentices. He is teaching our future chefs, so which is really important. And then when our foodies come, they actually get to touch, feel, smell, and actually experience where that food comes from, because it's not just about flour. Where's that flour come from? Who's the farmer? All those sort of things. So the lineage of where the food comes from is, when we can, is really important as well. And then the most important part is we all sit down and we share that meal, because when we pass a plate, we're actually connecting with that person through that plate. They're saying, thank you for giving me the plate that I'm going to eat from, that we're going to share from. So the classes are quite important to me in my heart, even though it's really not much to do with photography. This year I've actually taken on a friend that's going to help in my classes, which means I'm going to be able to take lots more photos of our experiences, which I'm really looking forward to. So yeah, I've had to bring on someone because I was being absorbed and I was running around with many hats throughout those experiences, but I realized I wasn't being true to me. I am a photographer. Yes, I'm doing these cooking experiences, so I need to also be the photographer. So that was a little lesson from last year. We only managed to run one because of COVID. We're going to run all 7 this year. COVID, I'm giving you notice. So that's probably my biggest community one. Also helping other businesses get a little bit of exposure. So sometimes I just give my time to them because I see the value in what they're providing, and I want them to be seen in the best light that they can. So I offer my services to a select few each year, and that gives me, you know, that's something for me as well. It makes me feel good, which is important to me. I need to feel as though I'm giving. That's my love language. I think I like to share and give.
That's the focus. There you are.
Yeah.
You haven't noticed I'm words of affirmation.
What was that? Sorry.
My love language is words of affirmation.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll work for nothing except for high fives, right?
Yeah.
I'm amazing. I'm like, I will do anything for you. Like, seriously, I'm just a whore for a like. You know, that's not true. But words of affirmation, if you're like, oh my God, thank you so much. Like, that's exactly all that I need to be able to keep going. I've always said that to my bosses, like, you know, I work for pats on the back. I work for, like, you know, appreciation.
That's where your worth is coming in this year. Worth.
Yeah. Why, you know, I started you know, these groups is because I wanted to share value, but also find connection and, you know, find ways that I could be of service. So.
No, and you certainly do that. Yeah.
Thanks.
You do that very well.
Thanks. Yes, it's a beautiful opportunity that I have to be able to create space that allows others to shine. That's my co-papa, that's my mission. My job is here to just shine a light on people like you.
And I think that's why I really connected, is because your customer voice and your drive to actually serve others is so powerful, and it's just magnetic. So it just rubs off, and that's sort of what we all need to do for our customers when we're trying to do that. We need to create that magnetism of, you know, I want to be here for you. It is for you. Like, yeah. So that's
Yeah. Yeah. I have had many mentors, and I will continue to have many mentors. It's like my greatest gift and my biggest challenge. But one of my early mentors is a beautiful man by the name of Paul Dunn. And he has, and if you've been customers, so customers of mine have had gifts from Paul Dunn where we've paid it forward. And he has a business called, or he's the founder of, the chairman of an organization called Buy One, Give One. And basically, when you do something, when someone makes a purchase with you, then you create an impact for someone else. And so it's this business for good and creating a ripple effect for good. And so Paul Dunn brought HP to Australia. So he's like an incredible businessman. He's done amazing things. And he says the only reason you give a speech is for them. The only reason you stand up on stage is for them. The only reason you show up is for them. It's
yeah.
for them. It's for them. And I've always remembered that. It's like, and it empowers me to do it even when I'm not ready. Do you know, even if I'm like, you know, if my ducks are not in a row, it's always about, it's not about me. And it's about, if this is the thing that needs to come forward, then how do we do that? And so this is business, right? And this is community, and this is food. Like the only reason you cook a meal is for them.
Yes.
when we connect, it's about bringing people together. So I love it. All right. So let's shift gears a little bit. Why don't you tell me, what is something that you can't live without?
It would definitely be family. So, you know, and I've lived without Sunny for, you know, months on end. So I know what it's like. And like yourself, Martine, you know what that separation is like. It just, but in its own thing, it actually creates such a strength, because you have to become an individual yourself. You have to, you're not reliant on that person. But when they come back, the bond is so much stronger, because as a team, you are stronger. Yeah, and my children always give me the lessons of life. When you just think you're in control, they'll throw a curveball and they'll go, okay, how are we going to deal with this? So, yeah, I certainly couldn't live without my family. I couldn't live with nature. So, you know, I need my water. Like I've said to Sunny just recently, I need to get back into the bush, you know, into the rainforest. I need to connect back. So even though I'm not a beach person, as Martine worked out at the boot camp, I do love the sound and the sight of water. I think it's the colours, but yeah, so just connecting with nature is very important. Definitely my garden. Oh my Lord, if I'm in a space, I just go out and pull up weeds or plant some more carrots or something, and just marvel at, you know, the little flowers that are popping up and the bees and the bugs and all that. And you just go, the world is actually, it's okay. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nature doing her thing, right?
Yeah.
This illusion that we think we're in charge. We're so not in charge. One look at Mother Nature and what she does just lets us know that we are but blips in the radar of this bigger ecosystem.
Like I've got my gardens all strategically laid, and there is a pumpkin that is growing up my mandarin and over my frangipani, and I'm like, okay. So,
yeah.
Let it go. Let it go.
I have one of my uncle, so my mother's brother, is the most incredible creator. He's a sculptor, a carver, a painter, a writer, but he's a gardener. And his garden is phenomenal. Like as kids, we've grown up in the garden with him. He's always got chickens running around under your feet. There's like eggs wherever you turn around, and he's got, tomatoes growing in with, flowers that are surrounded, and then he's got like fish ponds and stepping stones, and it is literally, it's like a secret garden. He has flowers and bumblebees, and then all of a sudden you see this huge zucchini growing out of something or other and around a pond, and it is the most magical wonderland. Like, and whenever I go home to New Zealand, I have to stay with Unc, and I'm in the garden with him because it is just this beautiful, wonderful playland.
It is. Yeah. No, I love it. Love my pond, love my girls, my little chookies. They just follow me around. So yeah, no, it's a lovely way to be.
So what for you is, we've talked about what's important, but what for you is again, changing tack, what's an instant no? Like, because there's so much that we say yes to as people pleasers, and we touched on this a little bit before, where, saying no and allowing yourself to have space over the holiday season or whatever else. But if you are in the field and you're meeting people and you're doing things, what's an instant no for you? What's one of the things that, like, actually, that's not the way? What would that be?
If there's no community, if there's no thread of how do we make it better for them. So what I mean by that, I would definitely not work for companies like Uber. Okay, I'm saying a brand here, but or that those sort of companies where they just push. They my feeling is they don't value their workers. They don't honor the food that they're delivering. It's just a commodity, and there's nothing of value to them besides the bottom line. So yeah, I'll definitely has to be ethical. It has to be local, like local first, support business, that sort of thing. Yeah, it wouldn't make me feel very good to work for someone that doesn't tell their story in the framework of who they're serving. If it's all about them and it's all about the bottom line and all about the revenue price point, no, it doesn't sit well.
100%. And that's why we connect. Because I think I've said this not that long ago, actually, when everyone was talking about, and it's one of the reasons why I'm very selective. I stopped doing branding for a little while because I have to be careful where I'm going. I stopped doing branding because I felt like it was more about the person and less about the people that they were helping, which is a disconnect from my vision and my mission. And so branding in a box is probably the largest generating business thing that I have. And 6 months ago, I said, I'm not doing anymore, right? And actually I am doing it, but it's much more carefully. There's an application process, and there has to be a strong alignment about, the people that I work with in that space from here on in. But it was less about us and less about, particularly if you look at people who are in, say, multi-level marketing or direct sales, or people who are starting business, and there was a big thing, everyone's like, what's your why? And I'm like, it's not about the why, because that's about us, right? My why. And it's not about your why. It's actually about the who, right? Who are you when you're in service? Who are you here to serve? And who are your people when they're working with you? It's actually not the why, right? So everyone's like, what's your why? I'm like, it's not my why, it's my who. The who is the thing that makes the biggest difference. Who are we serving? Who are we here to serve? Who am I when I'm in service? And who is my customer when they're in service with me? And that for me is peace. That's so much more compelling than what's your why, because the why is just me, right? And that's not the thing.
Well, it is a thing, but it's only
a small thing.
This much. Yes.
Without the people, we have no business. And so this is something that's super important for community. And I started community because it was about If you don't have people in your field, if you don't have an audience, if you don't have a connection, and this has been my theme over the past month, if you're not being seen by the people who need to see you, then you have no business, right? What you have is an idea, and you might have, a way to connect others. And there are plenty of people in this community who don't have a business, but they're of service to the others by supporting others in the community.
Yeah.
If you don't have people who are connected with you and having a value exchange, whether that value exchange is financial or whether it's energetic or whether it's whatever that is, but if you don't have people, you don't have a business, right? You don't. And so building a digital business is about having people in your field who believe what you believe and who are aligned. And when they're aligned, then the transition is easy, right?
Yes.
That's why we do this thing. All right. So I'm super mindful of your time, and I have just a couple more questions for you. And I would love to know, because I've done like the things, what does success look like for you?
Success looks like me being able to go away with my family and not worry that, how are the bills going to be paid and that. So yes, it comes down to a lifestyle choice. So my aim for this year is to actually have a paid 4 weeks off this year, so that we can go away and not have to worry. That's one of the things that does keep me awake, and that's probably still residue from the corporate life of getting that paycheck, that safety net. So I'm trying to learn how to release that, but also know how to get what I want. So basically, success is about getting balance back for me this year, not just constantly work. And mind you, last year was huge. I was very grateful for everything that came around and all the opportunities that were given. I certainly grabbed every single one of them, and but I know I can't keep that pace up. So this year's a little bit about structure and balance and trying to get that back. So success for me, you have your goals, you have your tangible goals. I want to hit 6 figures. I want to be on the front cover of Gourmet Traveler. So I have those actual goals, but I think the underlying thing is, being able to have a lifestyle where I can just go away and relax.
Yay. I love it. You'll definitely get to go away this year, 4 weeks with your family, and your business will definitely support you for that. 100% believe that for you. Okay, so something silly. What are you watching or reading at the moment?
Oh, now this isn't going to be silly. I hardly ever watch TV. I just don't. But also, I'm not known for being able to sit still. So for me to sit and just read a story is unheard of. I just can't do it. So for Christmas, I received 4 books, and 4 of those books were all about mindset and actionable things for my business, which I loved. It was still learning, but I was able to read, and I was like, okay, I'm obviously being told to sit down and read. So one of them was on Instagram, one was on the story branding, story branding, and which I've found really, really good, and that's been one about, similar to what you talk about, Martine, is talking how do you connect with your customer and your clients and your audience, because it's not about you, it's about them. How do you actually do that? So it's been really good to go through each chapter and actually action them. So it ticks my need to feel as though I'm doing something, but I also know that I've been able to sit and just read, and which has been quite nice, actually.
I love it. Like you, I'm not a good sitter. I must read. Although I have found something that you would love. If you ever delve into the world of Netflix, I've just discovered a new program. It's called Restaurants on the Edge.
Oh,
Yes, you're gonna love it. So it's restaurants with beautiful views, everything from Hong Kong to like lakes in Canada to restaurants in Malta, like restaurants around the world. They take a chef, they take a designer, and there's Costa Rica, there's the Caribbean, a chef, a designer, and a marketer, and they go in and they do revamp it based on the business as it is now. They give it that local feel, local food, local culture, and they bring it to life. And yes, if you want to have something that's a
cool.
feel good foodie thing, Restaurants on the Edge on Netflix is like my secret passion at the moment.
I'll have to do that. Thank you.
Super cute. Super cute. And she's a designer, and she goes and she brings something local in. They always use local produce, and they
Yeah,
get a feel for the local environment. It's super cute. So you will love it.
that's good. No, I'll have to have a look at that. Thank you.
No worries. And then of course there's so much that you do. And there's obviously not everyone can join your workshops at the moment. You can if you're in Southeast Queensland, so Kat's in Toowoomba. But if
Yeah,
people,
you can, because I do them online. I
okay,
can do them online.
okay. So how do people connect with you in your workshops?
Oh, okay. So yeah, so my photography skills workshops where I help people understand the fundamentals of photography. It's not just about the tool that you're using, it's about how you actually set the scene, the colors, composition, lighting, all that sort of stuff. They are available online and in my studio. So you can just go to the website, www.foodieshots.com.au. They're a 2-hour class, those ones, and then you actually become a part of the very important VIFs, very important foodies, and where I continue to support you as much as you want. So the learning never ends when you join our little group. The cooking workshops, there's 7, there's one each month from the month of Feb, and they're again on my website. And actually, I'm just about to start promoting my subscription models for my cafes, restaurants, and my product people. So that means that for 12 months, you get regular content every month, and it's a ridiculously low price. So,
Yay.
it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, and look, this is the thing. Like being seen online and is about having quality imagery. People eat with their eyes. They eat with their eyes on social. It really does make the biggest difference to have quality imagery. You can always tell when I've had like a great photo taken for my clients or for our brands versus when we've done it on our phones. So
yeah, and the other thing I think is really important to pull out is that the perception that photography is quite expensive. Yes, you are paying for the service of 1 hour or 2 hours of a photographer with all the kit they bring and all the expertise they bring. However, that one photo is now evergreen. It's now, you can use it across multiple platforms, multiple content. You can just use it in so many ways. So the concept that photography is out of reach for people is actually a misnomer. It's so much value.
yeah, I actually don't see that. So it's I think that certainly everyone in this community, and if they don't, they probably are not here, right? But I think people do understand the value of photography. I think with the way that photography is going now, with lots more lifestyle, product-based, marketing-based photography rather than portfolio photography and studio shots, I think it's a very different modality. And so for people who are using like photography for social media and lifestyle shots, the level of editing and detail from the photographer is quite different, and I think people need to understand that difference. But, those beautiful situational, foundational images that are there to support the story that go out as marketing photography, it's not like having studio shots like we used to do where you would pay like a really lot of money and you get 10 images. That's not the deal. That's old school photography. But the way that Kat does photography and the way that photography is moving forward is that, there's lots more capacity for people to have quality imagery, and you may not need to have like a 2-hour shoot. Like I had coffee with my photographer Ella the other day, and she was just sitting having coffee. She's like, here, I'm just going to ping off like 15 minutes worth of shots for you, and then uploaded them. And I'm like, I wasn't ready for that. Again, Martine, never ready. But the point is, photography has evolved, like marketing has evolved and messaging has evolved, and we're always evolving. And so if you haven't had an opportunity to really look at having quality imagery, then do that and use the people in this group who are connected with us in a deeper way. And if you resonate with Kat and you resonate with who she is and the human that she brings forward in her work and in her essence, then reach out to her because she'll know other people too, right?
Yes. Yeah. If I'm not suited and I feel that someone else is more suitable, I'll certainly bring them forward because it's better for my customer to get who they need. Yeah.
Every time. Kat, you're awesome. I love that I get to hang out with you. Fridays are one of my new favorite days now. I'm like, oh my God, I just get to hang out with epic people in our community and talk.
Yes.
Life is good.
Been good. Yeah. It's a nice morning.
If there's one thing that you wanted to share today before we switch off that I haven't asked you, what would that be?
So tonight when you sit down for your Friday meal, I really want you to think about where that food has come from, the farmers that have created that food, think about the soil that's in their palms. I just feel that we need to come back to the original parts of where our food comes from because we're so busy in our lives. We quite often just scoff down our food to get to the next thing. Actually appreciate, sit and enjoy.
I love it. Well, I totally appreciate and enjoy the time we have together. Thank you for being here. Thank you for contributing so beautifully every time you show up. I'm so grateful to have you in our field.
Thank you. It's been wonderful.
I love it. It's a brilliant day. Good luck with your shoot today.
Yes.
And I will see you soon. Thanks everyone for being here. Nice to see you, Holly Ann.
Bye, guys.
Bye.